Okay. Well, thank you all for being here for our Friday, April Zoom at noon. We are here today because of a generous sponsorship from Franklin Savings Bank. And we are also here because we have a lot of resources that we want to be sure that we are sharing with our downtown business owners to sort of meet each of you where you're at in development, as well as business needs that crop up, as we want to make sure that we are supporting each of you as we need to keep our Main Street vibrant and full and supportive of our downtown businesses. So again, thank you all for being here. I have recorded the session, and we do have a great presenter here today, Missy Potter of Accubooks. Before I introduced Missy, I just want to give a couple of announcements, and I am going to stick some stuff in the chat for you folks, some links of some business things that are going on in and around the downtown. The first one, and perhaps maybe at the end of our session, Tracy from the Ellsworth American will pop on, but Heart of Ellsworth and the Ellsworth American are teaming up to create a passport program for businesses and shoppers in downtown that hopefully will visit and frequent all of your businesses this summer season. And so I'm just sticking in some of the handouts that they've been going around downtown, passing out, and hopefully you folks are able to download them if you're interested in it. And there's a couple of you on here that do have product and a business that's open to the public. And this passport program is something that's really dependent upon businesses that interface with the general public. One other announcement, and what I might do is save the last two for the end of the call so that we don't delay too much. But on Tuesday night, we are working in partnership with the entire Ellsworth Green Plan to offer a Union River Community Forum, and that will be held at the Moore Center. And I'll even give you guys, if any one of you are interested in sharing the event on your social media, there's a poster, or excuse me, a picture here, and then you can just sort of pull some of that text, and then there is a RSVP sign up. So if any of you are willing to pass on that information, we would be very grateful, or attend yourself. So without further ado, I just want to introduce Missy Potter of Accubooks. I think, Missy, you've been in downtown Ellsworth for 2 years now, or maybe it's only been...
It was about a year in this past January.
Oh, okay. Oh, a year this past January. Okay. Yep. As some of you may know, some of you may not know, we have an extensive relationship with Missy. She is Heart of Ellsworth bookkeeper, for full disclosure. Missy is fabulous. We have a great relationship with Missy, and she just offers so many more services than we even use ourselves. And so we thought that it would be really wonderful to highlight Missy right around sort of after tax season was kind of over, when everybody knows that they need something, but they may not know how to get what they need and how to get their business to the next level. And I can attest to working with Missy on sometimes a daily basis, definitely always a weekly basis, that Missy is fabulous. And she does such a great job of approaching each business in their unique way, and really challenges herself to make sure that if she doesn't know the answer, she will sleuth it out for you. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Missy take over and give you folks a nice presentation on all that she does. And she's right in downtown Ellsworth. So thank you, Missy, for being here today.
Thank you very much. That was a great introduction. I appreciate that very much. Shakara is obviously a delight to work with. She makes my job easy for sure. So, and I am grateful to be able to be here and speak with you folks today. I'm going to move this because I can't see all my notes. So I am the founder of Accubooks. I started my business back in 2007. I do have over 25, it's closer to, I mean, it's always obviously over 25, but 27, 28 years of bookkeeping experience now under my belt. I am a Quickbooks Pro Advisor. I have an elite status with them for multiple reasons, just the client base that I carry and my education that I keep up with them. And I'm well-versed in QuickBooks Desktop and online. And I do promote that as the best way to keep track of your books for small businesses. QuickBooks has done a great job in facilitating that at a lower cost for businesses. My business motto is helping you keep track of your success and success through integrity. And I'm going to touch on that just a little bit because I want to give you a little bit of background about myself before I get into the importance of bookkeeping. So why I am who I am. This is my mom and dad. I was born late in their life. They were 40 and 43. I was a surprise baby. My siblings are 16, 18, 20, and 21 years older than I am. So I kind of had their full attention and that of my siblings also. And that definitely impacted who I am as an individual. My dad was always self-employed. He was a contractor, he owned a construction business, and he owned a trucking company. So I grew up in that atmosphere of being surrounded by an entrepreneur who would never work for anybody else because he was really good at what he did and he wanted to be the boss. So I grew up in that atmosphere and gained a lot of respect for the hard work that goes into that. And my mom, she was an amazing woman who supported my dad. He'd take us on long rides sometimes, and she'd always bring a book because she knew he'd end up going in talking to somebody, and we'd be stuck in the car for a couple of hours. So she was always prepared for that because dad always knew somebody somewhere. So, but they both taught me the value of hard work and respect for others that do work hard, and I owe them a lot for who I am today. And I wanted to give that recognition. I've lost both my parents in 2009 and just my mom last year. But since losing them, I actually have really gained even more respect for who they are and the impact they had on my life. And they truly affect my business. So I do want to touch on my motto just really quickly. I mentioned the word respect already, and these are the values that I build my business upon: respect, integrity, and success. They all go hand in hand. Having that respect, which the definition of that is to demonstrate high regard or special attention to someone or something. I believe business owners should be given that respect. A lot of times people will come to me and say, oh, I feel so stupid. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I don't want anybody to ever feel stupid about that. That's why I'm here. I don't know how to do what they do. And it makes for a great team effort when we can come together and work through questions they might have about their business and setting up their bookkeeping correctly. And I learn from them too. It's a going back and forth type of situation. So I never want people to feel like they're stupid. Not knowing how to do bookkeeping does not make anyone stupid. It's just something that you haven't had to do. So it's a perk that comes with owning a business that you find out usually afterwards how important it really is. But I also believe in respect and following the laws that are established for businesses and providing clients with the resources to gain and maintain their respect from their clients and different entities that they may work with along the path of doing business with people. And that comes from having your books in order. Everything you do in your business is always going to come back to your bookkeeping. It tells your story. I just really want to help people understand that more than just, oh, I need to keep my receipt or having a shoebox full of receipts. It's way deeper than that. Integrity, that's part of my business motto: choosing your thoughts and actions based on values rather than personal gain. Personal integrity is obviously doing the right thing when no one else is around. Professional integrity is being consistent and willingly practicing within the guidelines of the mission of your chosen profession, and just, demonstrating that day in and day out. And to provide clients with integrity in their business numbers. That's huge to me: integrity in our relationship and integrity in your numbers. And obviously, if those things are happening, then more than likely you're going to have success in your business. And that's my long-term goal for you. Short-term and long-term is to have that continued success. So that's a little bit about me. Now about bookkeeping. Some of these things may be like, I know that type of thing, but I just want to try to hit on all of them. So bookkeeping, definition of it is involves the recording on a regular basis of a company's financial transactions. Proper bookkeeping gives companies a reliable measure of their performance. And it seriously is more than just, what's in my bank account and how much somebody owes me and how much you owe somebody. It's much deeper than that. It provides information to make general strategic decisions and helps you set a benchmark for your revenue and your growth. If your desk looks like this, then you probably need to talk to me or another bookkeeper. It doesn't have to be me, but that's probably something that needs to happen. I have walked into situations, that's not a picture I've taken. I did find that online, so clearly it happens other places too. But and probably the person that has that desk could find anything on it at the drop of a hat. They usually, if you get them organized, sometimes they get a little confused on where their stuff is, but it is important, and people don't realize the importance of it until after it starts happening. It can be a big change for somebody who's used to kind of having things that way, not necessarily to that extent, but kind of winging it. But once you get established and get in a good routine with your books, it takes a lot of pressure off of you as a business owner. A couple of facts: poor bookkeeping is one of the top reasons businesses fail. 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow problems. And the word cash flow is something I am going to focus on heavily today, because it's really the foundation of everything that needs to be happening within your business. So the importance of bookkeeping, it's a little bit of a long list, and I am going to hit on each point here, but it helps you budget, tax preparation, analysis, better decision-making, business planning, reporting to investors, organization, financial management, peace of mind, track profit and growth, better cash flow, greater focus on strategy, easier IRS audits, if that ever happened. And it is a requirement under law, like I had mentioned earlier. So helps you budget. Obviously, a lot of businesses don't actually do budgets. We have one kind of within our home, and I strongly encourage it for people with businesses and even in your home life. Sometimes when you sit down and actually think about those numbers, and like, wow, I spent way too much at Dunkin' Donuts last month. It just kind of helps you put things in perspective, and just kind of like, do I really need that? Calculating your costs, it really matters. And a budget will definitely facilitate that for you. It helps, it says here, it creates that financial roadmap for your business so you can plan for the future, plan for your expenses, and anticipate resources that would cover those expenses. So I do strongly encourage a budget with your business, even if it's a small business, even if you're just starting out. It just really helps you think about the details of how can we generate that income and how can we monitor our expenses. Tax preparation. Just came out of tax season. That was a lot of fun. I do a minimal amount of tax preparation. That's not where I put my focus on my business. I am authorized through the IRS for that. But I really encourage people to reach out to a CPA or another tax preparer. I just like to really help get them in the position so that when it lands on that accountant's desk, it's ready to roll. And in doing that, as we go throughout the year, we're tweaking things and making things better, and you are seeing results during the process instead of after your taxes are done and your accountant's saying, well, if you had done this, or this year we should do that. We can be doing that throughout the year, getting you in a better position when your taxes are prepared. So good bookkeeping obviously helps to eliminate that last minute scrambling of gathering your information or tracking down that paperwork. I like to put things aside as we're going throughout the year, anticipating, knowing, you might have a workers' comp audit coming up or a general liability audit. I know the things that they're going to be asking for, so we can put those things aside so you're not like, oh, where are my 941s for your employee records, or how do I get this, or did I get that certificate of insurance from that contractor? These are all things that we're collecting throughout the year, and it just happens like it's just smooth when those things come up. And it also makes for a very happy accountant, and usually your tax bill reflects that too if you're more organized. Analysis. So the product of bookkeeping obviously are your financial statements, profit and loss. Sometimes you'll hear it called the P&L, also known as the income statement. It's all the same type of report, just different terms for it. The balance sheet and the cash flow statement. And these reports should be reviewed regularly. Your profit and loss is stating your income and your expenses, and it's giving you that bottom line of what you made or didn't make during the whatever time frame you're running at, whether it's each month or for the year or year to date. You can also do comparison reports with these financials, which is very helpful too. Balance sheet is what it is. It's giving you the balances of your assets and your liabilities and where your equity is at within your business. And then the cash flow statement really is, it's just showing you, it sounds like it's a duplicate, but it is showing you what's come in and what's gone out, but it's tracking it on a different level so that you can really wrap your head around right in that moment what is going on within your business and plan for that. And I love to meet with business owners and review these and kind of pick it apart and dig deeper so that you can make good decisions for the future. Which is the next thing, better decision-making. With analysis comes better decision-making. How can you expect to make an informed and profitable decision without financial information to support that? Like I said in the beginning, you might feel like, I've got a pretty good sense of what's going on. I have so many orders coming in, or I've just acquired this many clients or customers, or things like that, or a certain particular season might be coming up. We do really well during this time of year. And those are all really good things to know, but that's just the surface of what's going on in your business. To really look over these financial reports and track setting certain, like I said, benchmarks or goals, and then going back and reflecting on that, those will help you make better decisions for the future. And you can see results pretty quickly. Business planning, bookkeeping presents the past financial performance of your company or your business. In order to plan for the future, you have to have a good understanding of the past. So those financials are crucial. It gives you a clear picture of what exactly works and what doesn't work. Within my business, I was tracking different types of services I offered, from payroll to tax preparation, consulting, bookkeeping, cleanup work, those types of things. And it really helped me decide that I don't want to do tax preparation. And I've really pulled back away from the payroll, because those are actually two of the very daunting tasks at times. They're seasonal. Well, the tax prep is, it's intense work, very due date driven. And it's actually the least return on my investment. So by tracking those types of services individually, I was able to determine what I did not want to do within my business any longer and put my focus on other things such as this and the consulting side and the bookkeeping, and just really sitting with these owners and teaching them and showing them and answering their questions. And no question is too stupid. Every question that you have matters because it's about your business and affects your business. It also helps with strategic planning and tax planning, like I had touched on a little bit ago. So it allows you to plan with your CPA, to structure your expenses in advance instead of at tax time. Well, you bought a big piece of equipment. Well, you've got to decide, do I buy that piece of equipment by the end of the year, or do I wait until January? Is it going to be worth it, to have that on my books then? Because there's a lot of other tax questions that come into play. So if you're in a really good place with your bookkeeping and you really can anticipate what your growth is going to be, if you're going to be able to swing a certain payment, if you're buying a bigger piece of equipment, those are decisions you can make in advance prior to your taxes that can really impact your tax return that would be done typically within that first quarter of the year. But those decisions have to be made before that year ends, the prior year ends. Reporting to investors. Some people get, private investors that want to come. They see, wow, you've got something going here that's awesome. I want to be a part of that. I'd like to, be a silent partner of sorts and just, here's X amount of dollars, but this all sounds good, but I really need to see what your plan is and what you're doing, and what you're expecting for, growth and things such as that. So they want to know your financial performance. If somebody's willing to invest in your company, they probably have a really good grasp of financials. So you want to look good to them, because again, they want to be able to quantify the value of their investment. They don't want it to be something that's high risk for them. They want to say, okay, I'm willing to put my neck out there a little bit because, they've got their act together. Bookkeeping is good for your current investors and future investors. Prospective investors are more likely to invest in your business when you have accessible and organized financial records. If you can put your fingers on something really quickly and hand it to them, that's going to impress them. Organization, like I said, these things all kind of tie together. Being organized is a skill every business owner should have. Some are better at it than others. And that's okay. That's why you have people such as myself or other types of outsourced human resources, things like that can come alongside and help you with being better organized. It's okay to ask for help, and not a lot of business owners, they try to wear all the hats, and that maybe in the beginning you kind of have to do that, but the sooner you recognize that you need to start letting certain things go and it's worth it to pay the money to have somebody else handle this, you actually start recouping that money and making more money by having somebody who is skilled in that type of area handle it, because you're able to focus on what you need to focus on and why you started your business and get those sales coming in. So there are also several parties that are interested in your company's financial records. So being organized matters. The IRS obviously is interested. They're looking for that tax return every year. Your employees are interested. If you have employees, they're wanting their paychecks. So you want to make sure you're being organized enough and make sure there's money in the bank to cover those paychecks. Your customers are interested. They want to see a business that's growing and viable, and they're going to keep wanting to be a part of that. Again, investors, they want to know what's going on, and lenders, your banking institutions, they're going to want to know. I know last month, the Zoom at Noon had the grant, help with grant writing. Even if you guys qualify for something like that, a couple of you were recipients of that, that is going to matter to be able to have those numbers right at your fingertips. If you're eligible for a grant, you want to, be able to be prepared. And because I know when those come out, there's usually a very short time frame. So you've got your act together, you're going to, be a more likely candidate to receive something. Financial management. Bookkeeping is important because it allows you to take control of your business's finances. You want to feel in control of what's going on with your business. You don't want to be laying there in bed at night going, I don't know, did I pay that bill? Is that bill due? What's going on with that? I hope that check clears. You want to know what's going on with in your business, and bookkeeping brings that all together for you. It reveals how you make your money. Like I said earlier, just kind of some businesses you can break out, what types of revenue streams you have coming in, that matters. And it reveals how you spend your money. Sometimes, maybe you're spending more. You can track if you're buying wholesale and, marking it up, you're able to see, tracking that cost and, accounting for it and making sure you're marking up things accurately as you're getting it on the other side. You want to make sure you're not losing money in that adjustment time. And it tracks who you owe and who owes you. We always like to know who owes us and stay on top of that. Again, peace of mind. Disorganized books can weigh heavy on the mind of a business owner with all the other factors of running a business. Running a business is not for the weak. I say that all the time. You got to be tough as nails, because it's just so many things that you're thinking about all the time. that impact your business, your reputation, how you pay your bills, you want a good name, all those things really matter. And you're having your books in order are really going to give you that extra boost to feel confident in presenting yourself to whomever for whatever reason, whether it's, filling out a credit application, going in to see a banker, like, you've all of a sudden had this amazing opportunity and you want to be able to sit there and be confident in your numbers and talk the numbers with them. Again, bookkeeping shouldn't be keeping you up at night. When it's kept up to date, you can rest easy and know that your financial information is ready to review. And you can focus on running your business. A lot of this seems redundant, but it really, all these things intertwine. You can track your profit and your growth. So good bookkeeping shows your business profitability through the P&L, which I mentioned earlier, gives you that bottom line number. It shows the growth of your business by accumulating months and years of data. Even if you're just starting out, if you can get your bookkeeping in place from the ground, right, start out with it going, you're going to be able to have comparison reports. And that is huge as a small business owner to say, wow, look where we've come on those days where you feel like you're just spinning your wheels and just struggling to make sense of why did I do this? You can go back and look and compare, wow, last year, that's right, I actually, doubled what I'm doing, because you don't always realize that, especially on those days where it's those long days when you just need that boost of encouragement. Having those comparison reports really matter, and it helps you make really good decisions. Also helps you observe your trends and cycles. And again, you can compare your results across different periods. If you want to say, what did I do last March compared to this March? You can do that with bookkeeping. QuickBooks, the software and the capability that QuickBooks has offers those tools to you. And it's literally, if the information is input correctly, it's literally just punching in dates and that is it. And it's right there in front of you. So I highly recommend getting that bookkeeping off the ground and going right from the start. Again, better cash flow. I'm going to highlight that a little bit more in a few minutes too, but bookkeeping improves your cash flow. The routine recording of your revenue, expenses, liabilities, and receivables allow you to track when your customers and vendor invoices are due. You don't just have this pile over here saying, okay, I think this is due. And those things, that's not a bad thing. Some people have really good envelope systems or those types of things. But if you can get it into an actual software where you can generate a report very quickly and see, and then just click and pay those bills, it's going to expedite just whatever type of bookkeeping you're having to do and give you that peace of mind again. And it also shows you, like with your accounts receivable, the customers that owe you money. It'll help you to decide whether you need to shorten your terms with them. Some people let you pay at a net 30, and you might allow that for your customers. That is prolonging you getting money in your bank account short term, or shortening your terms. If you just change it to net 15, have it on your invoices or whatever with your customers, they're going to look at that and say, okay, it's due here, instead of, well, I've got 30 days, because on the flip side of that, you as a paying customer to somebody else should take advantage of the terms that you're being allowed. And if you're allowed 30 days, take advantage of it. But you want to get the cash flow coming in sooner for yourself. And the bigger companies can afford that floating time a little bit more. Smaller businesses really shouldn't have net 30 terms if they can get away from that. Greater focus on your strategy. Technical and strategic planning is the core of what you do as a business owner in everything you do. When you started your business, I'm sure you sat down and you, thought about, you obviously knew what you wanted to do, but you had to calculate the cost of what's it going to be for me to start out? Do I need to rent a place to be able to sell my product? Is this a storefront, or is this something I'm going to be able to mail, product out? Just a variety of things that you have to calculate and be strategic in your planning. Proper bookkeeping helps you continue to be strategic in that. It provides you the tools to bring you closer to your short-term and long-term goals. And you can track the results of your strategies and adjust your goals along the way. Easier IRS audits. We all hate the word audit. But messy books will prolong the audit process. We don't want that. And it can cause for penalties to be imposed. If you were faced with an audit, it's always best to make their job easier. If you have your books in order, you're giving them everything, it looks nice and clean, they're going to be able to get through that quicker. They're not going to, when it's messy, they're going to go digging more. I can guarantee you that. If you've got your act together, they're going to just say, okay, this person looks good. You're able to give supporting documentation to why you did what you did. They're going to move along, and you're probably going to pay far less, if anything. Maybe they might owe you money. Who knows? So good bookkeeping will definitely shorten that uneasy time. Again, it is a requirement under law. Business owners are required to keep financial records for their businesses. It doesn't have to be on a software. Again, that just makes it a lot easier to run those reports and do those comparisons and have it at your fingertips instead of, just trying to pull it together at the last minute. And depending on your legal structure, the law actually requires you to keep financial records separate from your personal expenses. So that is something to keep in mind. Even if you can commingle, technically you really shouldn't, in my opinion. It gets messy really quick. You should have a separate business checking account. If you don't, you definitely would want to do that. It just keeps things from getting muddy really quick. And failing to do these things could lead to the termination of your business, which obviously we don't want to see that happen. Cash flow. Cash flow is probably the single biggest reason for business failure. I had mentioned that earlier. Oops. I moved to the wrong one. Hang on just a second. I gotta move my screen. Why do I keep doing that? Hang on. Cash flow is the lifeblood of any entity, and having enough of it, especially during the early stages. Again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get your bookkeeping going properly from the start, because as you grow, you're going to add to it. And if you just have that really good, solid foundation laid right out of the gate, it's going to be a lot easier. Just like if you were building a house, that foundation is solid, the walls go up a lot easier, the roof goes on a lot easier. It's the same principle that's applied with bookkeeping. And business owners should strongly consider monitoring their cash on a weekly basis. There are spreadsheets to do that, where you're just inputting a few things. You're checking your bank balance and what's coming in, what you're anticipating coming in and going out, and you're just plugging those numbers in. And then it's just giving you this projection so that you can see at the end of the month, man, it looks like we might come up short, and you can plan in advance instead of scrambling on that Friday the bill's due to figure out how you can pay that bill. And hopefully none of you are in that position, but I have unfortunately seen a lot of business owners in that position, and I try to be ahead of that on their behalf. Accounts receivable, again, should be aggressively monitored to ensure a steady stream of cash is being collected. Maybe you don't have accounts receivable, but some people do. And again, setting those terms that match what your needs are for your business, taking advantage of that, and not being a nag. That's not at all what I'm saying. You want to have a good business rapport with your customers, but definitely following up with them in a friendly way. Hey, maybe you missed this bill. I sent it. I've had to do that. Like it appears, you don't want to assume. So I'll just say it appears maybe this was, overlooked, and just following up on this, just setting that pace. Plus they're going to start knowing, okay, they're going to come asking or following up, and you'll start to go to the top of their list for being paid, because they're not going to want to have to reply to your email or feel bad that they hadn't paid you. And having a solid working relationship with your bank or banks, having one or two or three banks isn't a bad thing. Banks offer different resources. Some banks, are heavy on equipment financing. Some banks are heavy on residential, property. If you're buying properties, they're different banks offer different type of lending. So it's really good to understand what banks offer, what the different banks offer, and develop relationships with them, and being proactive to establish that relationship ahead of time. I would highly recommend too, instead of waiting until the last minute when, they might not be able to help you out. Obviously, if you're trying to get loans and things like that, there's waiting periods and there's appraisals or, different things like that that you have to go through. And if you can have yourself established ahead of time, that's huge. So again, cash flow, value it, understand it, and monitor it. I cannot stress that enough. And tips for monitoring your cash flow, just really quick. Again, that collect your receivables, set up a collection schedule. If it's every Wednesday or every Friday, that you are going to sit down and review what they would call, if you are using a bookkeeping software, it's called an accounts receivable aging report. If you've input your invoices that your customers owe you, you're going to be able to run a report that is called the accounts receivable aging. It's going to tell you who owes you, how much they owe you, and it's going to tell you in 30-day increments. And you can use that report to reach out to them. But it just really gives you that sense of what's going on and what you are owed specifically, and follow up on those non-payers quickly. And this, again, might sound harsh, and I've had to do it myself. And I don't like conflict. I'm not opposed to it. There are times as a business owner that you have to kind of face things head on. But you need to end unprofitable relationships quickly. Don't let them linger. Decide when it's time. Do it as best as you can, trying to not burn any bridges along the way, but don't delay the decision too long, because you are the one that will pay for it as a business owner. And if any of you carry inventory, controlling your inventory is huge in your cash flow. Having too much inventory will tie up your cash. You can have products sitting on your shelves for way too long. Some of it might expire. Really, if you're doing your books accurately and tracking that inventory, you can tell what's selling, what's not selling, capturing, if a vendor is having a sale, you're going to be in a position to maybe be able to afford to invest in that more heavily if there's something, a deal going on by, purchase volume. Just really understanding and controlling your inventory is huge. It's more than just knowing how much is on your shelf. It's knowing what it cost you for that piece on your shelf, how you track it, whether it's last in, first out, first in, first out. Those types of things really matter. Moving that inventory, if it's sitting there too long, how do I get rid of it? Quickly, should I have a sale, but am I still going to make a profit? These are all things that you will have the information and be able to know. And that is pretty much it. I'm sure there's a lot more I could cover, but I'm open to any questions. If like Cara said earlier, if I don't have an answer, I will find out for you. But I can't push the cash flow enough, and just really the bookkeeping, no matter how small or new you are, it really matters. So, and thank you.
I'll just offer up a couple of our experience of working with Missy, and sort of, I'm not a person who is financially minded. I lean on Missy a lot, and I know that we are in a very different boat than many of you who are on here. You folks are part of nonprofit. I mean, you folks are for-profit businesses, whereas we are a nonprofit based business. I have owned businesses in the past, and I will honestly say that I did not have a bookkeeper in my back pocket that I could go to. And I think that it's a large reason why one of the two businesses that I had sort of failed. I guess I can say in this group it failed. COVID was part of it, but there were other factors that led to it. But one of the big ones, I think, was that I didn't have a bookkeeper. And in my line of work, I don't have any choice. We manage a lot of grant funds, and we have to have a bookkeeper, and there's no possible way that I could do what I do in turning around and reporting to our board of directors without Missy's help. But one thing I will say is that you might feel, I know that I felt this way when I had my own business. I thought, oh gosh, that bookkeeper isn't the right match for me. Like, they don't understand what I do. They need to understand what I do. And what I will say is that Missy, prior to working with us, had never worked with a community development nonprofit organization. We have a lot of different programs. We have a lot of different funders, and there's a lot to keep track of. And it was really important at the beginning that I felt that Missy understand what we do and how we interface with the community. And so we really took some time and sat with Missy, and she really took the time to get to know our organization and what we do.
You're all so quiet.
Oh. Well, if there are any questions, or if there aren't any questions, I guess I should say.
Mine is very specific, so I'll email you, Missy.
Okay.
And I think, well, you folks all have her email address because it's right there on the screen. But Missy, if you wouldn't mind typing it into the chat, then people can copy and paste it too.
Sure.
Thank you. Tracy, if you're still on here, I unfortunately can't see all of you at this time. So Tracy, if you're on here, just let me know that you're still on the call.
I am.
All right, great. I'm going to take a second after thanking Missy for being on here today and presenting to each of you. Also, the one thing that maybe was not clear is that Missy has an office space right in downtown Ellsworth, and she at least meets with us in person, and I'm sure she's meeting with others in person. Sometimes that kind of personal connection is a nice way to sort of start to build a relationship. And so Missy is in an office space directly across the street from the Ellsworth Post Office. So Tracy is on here as well today from the Ellsworth American. As I said earlier, we have the passport program that we're partnering with them on this summer for downtown Ellsworth business owners and shoppers who will come to downtown. So I'm going to let Tracy give a quick talk about the program, and if anyone needs the sheets that I handed out, if they're not able to open the files up, please let me know.
So the Ellsworth American has always done a downtown business grouping in the summer. And I say summer, but I mean from like Memorial Day through the beginning of October. And so we're still doing that, and that's open to any business that's downtown. And the rates are just ridiculously cheap for a smaller of the two ad sizes. It's $31.25 a week, and for the bigger ad, it's $50. And those rates are like less than you would pay if you had a 1-year contract and you bought a full page. So really good. But one of the things that we decided to do this year and partnered with the Heart of Ellsworth is this downtown shop local passport, which I did in another town that I lived in with another development corporation. And basically shoppers are asked to visit 10 different stores and spend $20 a piece at each of them. And when they achieve that, their passport goes into a drawing for some really nice prizes, like a night on the town in Ellsworth or admission to the Cider and Cheese Festival. So it's really geared toward places with a storefront, places that locals and visitors would shop at, you know, to run in and grab something or come in and get a service. The goal is to have 25 businesses that are participating so that when you tell a shopper they have to spend money at 10 stores, they actually have some choices. And the big perk to it is, in order to be eligible for it, you need to commit to 13 weeks of advertising within the 20 of the downtown business grouping. And you'll be covered obviously with your display ad for those 13 weeks, but then for the full 20-week run, Heart of Ellsworth and the Ellsworth American are both going to use social channels and email blasts, and the Ellsworth American is going to take some of our radio time on Star 97 to promote all the participating businesses throughout the whole 20 weeks. So you pay for 13 weeks of display advertising, you get 20 weeks of all kinds of advertising, and hopefully some tangible evidence that newspaper advertising actually will bring people into your store. And you just check off the passport that they spent their $10, and then they'll come to us for their prize drawing. And we've established a self-imposed deadline because the library open house is, I think, 2 weeks from yesterday or something. And by the 5th, they need any information that we want to put in their goodie bags in their hands so that they can hand it out to the 150 people that show up. And so we want to have the passport finalized by then. So our deadline for a verbal yes, I'm in is Monday, and then we can work out the details between now and the end of May when it's time to actually run the ads. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here. And now, Maggie, I won't have to bother you again because I think I left you a message and an email so far.
Yes, I got your message. Plan on calling you back when we're running deliveries today. We just finished up in the shop, so.
Okay. So that's my show for now.
Well, Heart of Ellsworth is really excited about this. This is something that we as an organization, it's been a work directive for a while to do a program like this, but we're just too small and don't have enough staff to do these things on our own. So when we are approached by other businesses, sometimes other organizations to partner, it's the way that we are really able to get things done. And so this is a really great partnership opportunity for Heart of Ellsworth, and the more businesses that we're able to have be a part of this, the more that we're able to offer the merchants and also the folks who come downtown to shop in your stores and eat in your restaurants. And so we're really excited about this program. So
I was talking to somebody this morning about it, and you know, I'm new to the Ellsworth American by about 6 or 7 weeks now. And one of the reasons I'm here is because I'm so passionate about Ellsworth and downtown Ellsworth. And so it occurred to us that Ellsworth is starting to turn into a shopping destination, and not just that town that you drive through to get to MDI and Bar Harbor. And so it was the person I was talking to was like, I don't really need to advertise. I'm so busy and, you know, I don't need it. And it was like, yeah, but if we're trying to portray downtown Ellsworth as a destination, a display of all of these businesses in one place just kind of drives home that point that this is a place to come because you need to come here and not just because you happen to be passing through. And so it was an interesting conversation and just kind of food for thought.
Yeah, Tracy, thank you for highlighting that, because I think a lot of people have that perspective, and it's sort of the more reasons that we give people to come, the more often they come, and the more that they continue to hop around and to frequent the businesses and go to places maybe they've never been before. Not to put anybody on the spot, and no one really may have an answer to this, but and maybe it's more of an encouragement to think, but Heart of Ellsworth, we did our asset mapping a couple of weeks ago, and we're getting ready to send out a survey, probably the beginning of next week, to try and gather more information from folks that maybe weren't able to dip into the different sessions. But one thing that we're really trying to understand is the effectiveness of the programs that we're doing. So for example, Zoom at Noon. In the future, it will be things like the Downtown Passport Program, but trying to find out if these programs are ones that you connect with and if they satiate needs of your business. And if there are things that we are not doing yet that you think would really help you or also be of interest or of great need to your contemporaries in downtown, we really want to hear from folks, because we can sit here and design programs all day and come up with ideas. There's no shortage of ideas really at the end of the day. But if we're not offering the right things to folks, then our energies are not focused in the right areas. So if folks have, ideas, and specifically I'm asking you folks as business owners, and if you can think of resources or just things that are happening maybe in other towns that you'd like to see happen in Ellsworth, we would really like to hear them. You can email. If you have like one right now, you're more than welcome to take yourself off mute and to say so.
You're on mute.
I would say today was helpful. We are working with an accountant / bookkeeper, but I would say our relationship, we don't delve into the numbers. It sounds like the services that you offer, Missy, I think could be helpful for us in this stage of the business where we're kind of at the cusp of growth that could go so many different ways. And we're exploring certain avenues this summer and kind of focusing the attention that two people have in one direction, or really two or three, but, we're kind of going one way this summer to the best of our abilities. But as we move forward and we grow, our team will grow and we'll be able to investigate other paths. So I definitely think that, I would love to connect with you, Missy, about, I definitely also could use help at just being more facing the numbers more and just looking at them more often. We're just starting a new business for the first time. And so I'm just happy every day that there's money in our bank account. But I think we've got a lot of the baseline of what you presented kind of understood, which is good. But I think just kind of you gave it a couple good points that I think will be really useful. We do operate on a net 30 with our wholesale accounts, but why not net 15 to get the check faster? We're kind of like a single ingredient product business, but that is an expensive product. So yeah, that was a great takeaway. So, I think stuff like this is great for me as a new business owner, Cara. Just going over kind of these essentially pillars of being a business owner that you think, like Missy mentioned, are self-explanatory, you think you should know. I thought it was I had a lot of good takeaways from the conversation today. And, about grant writing and the past few Zoom at Noons, I think have been for me helpful just because of my position. I think someone that's more seasoned maybe might look at the topic and say, oh, I don't need to spend the time to do that today. But for me, I'm this is a free course for me. So I'm going to take advantage of it. And then, I think that these Zoom at Noons, in this way are really helpful, but, I can't speak for other my peers just because I I'm like a baby compared to them. So
Thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate that very much.
yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
I found this super helpful as well. I started off June 2020 when I opened, so I was like doing everything myself, bare bones. And part of what I used the Heart of Ellsworth grant for was to hire a business consultant to help me get a strong team around me now that I'm growing. And she's been on me about a bookkeeper, even though I have QuickBooks and I have it connected to my business credit card and business checking, and that's all super helpful. But definitely as I'm growing, it would be super helpful. And I found all this information really good. I'm trying to figure out how I can be a part of the passport program, but I'm not really sure I can, where I'm more service driven and not product.
Yeah, I think that I think you could, what I will do, actually, I'm going to connect you with Tracy.
Okay.
But I think you could be, you have a business that is in downtown and you are open to the public. The threshold is that, you know, we're encouraging, the passport is encouraging people to go in and spend $20 or more, which I would think in one visit, they probably would spend $20 with you. And then you just kind of sign off on it. And it's encouraging folks to like kind of go and visit all of the businesses that buy into the program. And then once you folks have signed off and they've visited every single person they want to visit, then they get thrown into the contest. So I think you could totally be on there. And actually it's interesting, Kristen, that you would ask, because I think that I think a lot of people don't know that your business is downtown, and where you are positioned geographically too. And it makes sense for the type of business that you are to be there. But if you're looking for a little bit more sort of foot traffic that, you know, for more appointments, then I think it totally would make sense. And I think it would be a lovely, different type of business than's typically on there. So you would, because typically most of it is, you know, retail or restaurants. We have a couple of service-based industries that have signed up, but not as many. So you stand out from that perspective.
Yeah. Private practice is far and few between. So I'm super, super happy for any resources. And
well, we're so happy that you chose downtown Ellsworth, the same as for Maggie and Stephanie. And actually this statement even goes to Missy. I mean, all of you, oh my God, I just realized this, all of you are new businesses within the past 2 years to downtown Ellsworth. All of you share that in common. That's pretty awesome.
Well, it's great to be here. And I think that the passport, I think sounds like something that would be useful. I think I told you, Cara, offline, and just like Kristen, for your reference, if you've never advertised in the American before, we do so much on social media and we spread the word by word of mouth. And, there's certain kind of like free ways to spread the word, but there is certainly a clientele that has come through our door because of advertising we've done in the paper, or just our, comments about our business in the paper. Just, it has been a solid way of building awareness of our business within the community, especially, being off Main Street and not necessarily something that everyone passes on when they come visit Ellsworth. So I definitely think it's a strong option if it suits, your business. We've had success working with the Ellsworth American in a couple different ways. So
thank you.
Well, we are at time. And so I just want to thank each of you for being on here today and using this resource. We are so thankful to Franklin Savings Bank for sponsoring this program, and actually all of our entrepreneurial ecosystem programs, which there are more things coming, guys. They just aren't public yet. So, so stay tuned for that. And I hope all of you have an excellent weekend. And thank you so much, Missy, for being on here. And if anyone,
thank you for having me.
yes. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.